It is a rare metal said to be one of the first three elements to have formed during the Big Bang event. It is one of the lightest known metals with high energy density, powering all your electronic gadgets and now even your vehicles. This metal is called lithium. It has the power to change not only the fate of those who control it, but also the fate of the whole world. With the discovery of lithium reserves, India has found another field to promote making in India in the global competitive market. How significant is this finding? What does this discovery mean for India? How will this impact the world? Let's look at them one by one. The Geological Survey of India had recently found 5.9 million tons of lithium inferred resources in the Salal Haimana area of the Riyasi district of Jammu and Kashmir. Between 2017 and 2020, approximately 165 crore of lithium batteries were imported into India. This was at the cost of $3.3 billion. This shows how significant the lithium findings are, as the demand is only set to increase in the future. However, the discovery made by GSI is categorized as G3 according to the United Nations Framework Classification for Resources. It means the findings are just estimates based on geological findings and limited sampling. Further exploration and a detailed mapping, including geochemical and geophysical surveys, are needed to see the economic viability for extraction of these minerals. With this finding, India globally ranks 6th position in lithium resources. Only Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, Australia and China are ahead of India in lithium resources. Currently, the worldwide lithium resources are estimated to be 98 million metric tons. Of this, the actual reserves stand only at 26 MMT. The majority of the 130,000 tons of lithium produced in 2022 came from only 14 mines. The three nations of South America, namely Bolivia, Chile and Argentina, are collectively referred as the lithium triangle because of the abundant reserves found there. Despite these vast resources, Bolivia and Argentina have limited production. With the demand for EVs increasing, the debate over global reserves of lithium has been gaining momentum. Up until now, crude oil ruled the roost as the dominant source of energy in the industrialized world. Controlling oil production meant controlling nations. The Middle East by the virtue of having large oil reserves, and the USA by leveraging its petrodollars are driving the geopolitics. But now, threatened by the climate change, countries are rapidly transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Gradually, the power of those states that were big players in the world of fossil fuel economies will fritter away. The race to renewable energy is reshaping the global politics. Few countries are already far ahead compared to many. Let's take a look at the demand for electric vehicles and who is making gains from it. According to the World Economic Forum, at the current rate of carbon emissions, the world will need at least 2 billion EVs. There could be a lithium shortage as soon as 2025. In 2022, global EV sales had increased by 60%, representing 13% of the total vehicles sold. And guess what? China accounted for 60% of these total EV sales, which doubled in 2022. EV sales in North America increased by 50%, while Europe sales were up by 11% in 2022. If government goals are to be accomplished in time by 2030, 100% of the cars sold in the UK, Sweden, the Netherlands, Norway and Germany, 64% in France, 50% in the US, and over 40% in Korea and Oceania will be EVs. This implies that the annual EV sales will increase fourfold from current levels. EVs are powered by lithium batteries. It had a total demand of 473 gigawatt hours in 2022. Of the 60 gigawatt of battery sales in December 2022, 31 were made in China, 20 gigawatts in Europe and 9 gigawatt in the US. We can see that the China has a sway in battery manufacturing. Its poster child contemporary Amperex technology, also known as CATL, is the largest supplier with 37% of the global market share. It is followed by South Korea's LG with 15% and another Chinese company, BYD, with 14%. How did China manage to do it? China's drive to go green started way back in 2007 when it issued blueprints for developing wind, solar and biofuel activities. It became the world's largest investor in clean energy in 2010. Since then, China has been pouring billions of dollars and is offering subsidies to companies to invest in green energy. CATL owes a large part of its success to these subsidies and government protectionism. According to a recent analysis from market research from Bloomberg NEF, Nearly half of the world's low carbon spending took place in China. The country spent $546 billion in 2022 on investments that included solar and wind energy, electrical vehicles and batteries. That is nearly 4 times the amount of US investments, which total $141 billion. The European Union was second to China with $180 billion in clean energy investments. China dominates the supply chain from the mines in Democratic Republic of Congo to the final production line of lithium-ion batteries. Chinese companies control more than 85% of the world's refined cobalt chemical capacity, essential for most lithium-ion batteries. It also mines almost all of the world's rare earth materials, which are used in electrical motors and wind turbines. China is still the world's biggest emitter of greenhouse gases and is heavily dependent on coal, which supplies 58% of its electricity. It only makes sense to invest in clean energy now in a world that is transitioning to renewable energy. Chinese companies have bought mining rights and have several projects in the lithium triangle of Chile, Argentina and Bolivia. It also has companies operating in Mali, Ireland and Zimbabwe. With this, we can see China has already soared past many countries as a leader in renewable energy. Lithium mines require anywhere between 3 to 7 years to build and be operational. This means it will still take some time for India to utilize its newly discovered white gold. The mineral needs a high volume of water for extraction, and most of the lithium reserves are in countries which has water issues, making India an alternative of the future. But mining and processing lithium is an energy-intensive process, which also has environmental impact. India's lithium reserves will only help a little to emerge as a competing global power in clean energy. Due to this reason, it is diversifying its renewable energy sources. It has recently sanctioned a budget of 19,744 crore rupees for green hydrogen mission. India plans to increase its annual green hydrogen production to 5 million tons by 2030, reduce dependence on fossil fuel imports, and cut greenhouse gas emissions by nearly 50 million tons. This way, it will be able to meet its net zero carbon emission goals without depending on any single country controlling the raw materials.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.